What up, world? Happy Father's Day, happy Sunday, and welcome to another jam-packed episode of Blunt Talk Quick Takes, NBA Finals Game 4 recap. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the cloudy but warm confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast not only here on YouTube, but you can check it out on Substack, Spotify, Patreon, Trovo, and as well as on Podbean. Happy to be here with you guys on this beautiful June 15th, 2025. And again, happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Hope you guys are enjoying your day and making the most of it. This episode, like I said, is jam-packed. We're going to be touching on a lot of different things from Game 4, things that I recap, just more or less things that I noticed in the game with the Thunder tying the series up in a comeback fashion. It's something they're not really familiar with or have shown throughout this postseason, but they were able to win the game 111 to 104. I'll touch on that. Also touch on the Knicks coaching interests and what their coaching searches look. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Thanks. And the chaos and the upheaval that shit has been. But before we do, I want to make sure I give a shout out to a couple of our friends of the show. First and foremost, I want to make sure that I stress emphasis on this because clock is ticking. We got 10 days left before this days of play ends for Sony PlayStation. And I want you guys to definitely, for my avid gamers out there, definitely check it out. They have a bundle package right now. There's a lot of different things that they have on sale for Sony days of play. I implore you to check it out. It started May 25th. It ends in 10 days now, excuse me. It ends in 10 days. Definitely get on it. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. Looking to get out this weekend, looking to take your spouse out, have a great time with some friends, then look no further than the #1 leading ticket seller and reseller in the world, StubHub. #1 seller in the world for live events, tickets, shows, and concerts, StubHub. All right, guys, so hopping into this episode, like I said, NBA Finals Game 4 recap. The series is now tied 2-2, as I previously mentioned. Thunder won 111 to 104. This game is interesting because this series, more or less, is interesting because to start it out, the game was tight, as most of these games have been, excluding the one blowout. Most of these games have been tight. And it's very interesting, too, because noticing how the game started, it kind of felt like it was Indiana's game to win. Indiana had the 3-ball going early. They were aggressive on offense. You saw Siakam again, as I previously stated in previous episodes, him setting the table, him getting everything set up for, the rest of the offense. And, the offense was flowing. Indy was playing pretty good. They were controlling the pace of play for the first half. I got to give them credit for that. The thing, though, I did notice from Oklahoma City, though, early in the first half, you saw Alex Caruso was going to make an impact. You saw Jalen Williams was making an impact early. You saw Chet Holmgren was getting in on the action. Now, all that being said, give me one moment, 1 second. All that being said, you sat here, you looked at the final numbers, and again, I have to give a shitload of credit to the Thunder because they did not lie down. They could have, the first half, going into halftime, the Pacers had all the momentum. It seemed as if it was a game where, OKC may lose this by 7 or 10 points. Valiant effort, but didn't really seem like there was going to be much to, salvage out of this. And Jalen Williams making the plays that he had, and I'm going to have his stat line here for you in a second, but the plays that Jalen Williams made, the plays that Chet Holmgren made in that first half, the plays that Alex Caruso made in that first half were all crucial into keeping this team afloat and just pretty much, keeping this team, in the game in the first half. Because without it, I don't really understand or see where they could have won. And then here, pulling up the numbers via NBA.com. Here we go. Yeah, you had Chet Holmgren, who ended the game with 14 points. He had 15 rebounds, 4 of 9 from the field, and he was 0 of 1 from 3, so that's never good. He hasn't really been good from the three-point range in the postseason really this year at all, so it's kind of a little bit startling, but they've had Lou Dort, they've had other guys, Shea hit a couple, they've had, Wiggins, they've had other guys kind of step up in that spot, in that role, but it's just not been really it for Chet Holmgren this year from the shooting from 3. Jalen Williams, like I said, he was making plays. He ended the game with 27 points. Now, he did have 4 turnovers, but however, he had 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He didn't hit any three-pointers either, but he was 8 of 18. And you see where Oklahoma City gets very streaky with the three-point shooting. They ended the game, though, and they only took 16 attempts, but they were 18%. So, fucking horrible from three-point range. But again, I reiterate, Oklahoma City is not a three-point shooting team. They never really have been. That's not really been their strong suit. So for them to get barraged like this from three-point range and to stay in the game was remarkable in itself. Now, to give you an idea, Indy shot better from three-point range, but they didn't shoot all that well either. They were 11 of 36 and only had 30%. And that was really the major difference in the game, because if they could have hit a couple more of those three-point shots, probably would have put this game away a little bit earlier. But going into the second half, before I do that, I want to make sure I give a shout out to, like I said, Alex Caruso mentioned his points. He had 20 points, and he had a plus-minus rating, player efficiency of plus 14, which is outstanding. It looks like here he had 5 steals, amazing. Let's see here, 1 or 2 from three-point range and 7 or 9 from the field. He's been their OG. He's been their vet. Alex Caruso deserves so much credit for how far this team has gotten on the bench and the hustle plays that he's made defensively. I mean, hell, in the Nuggets series, he's defending Nikola Jokic. In this series, in the series against Minnesota, he's all over the floor. And in here, he's all over the floor. So shout out to Alex Caruso. Amazing game by him. Going into the second half, Pacers kept the offensive energy up and the effort going into the fourth quarter. The thing that I wanted to make sure that I gave credit to was guys like Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, man, it's funny because, honest to God truth, we didn't see this from him a couple years ago. We kind of just expected that maybe he was going to develop, maybe he was going to grow into the guy that we thought he could possibly be in. He was more of a dunk specialist in New York. Didn't really have the overall game. Man, he's developed. He is truly fucking developed. I mean, he played 28 minutes, right? He had 17 points. Now, his player efficiency rating was negative 15, so that's not great. But he had 17 points, 205 from three-point range, and he was 7 of 12 from the field. So, again, just goes to show you where Obi Toppin has really stepped up in this series. He has been a major difference for them in this series. And it's kind of weird because I'm getting to a point with all of this. Benedict Mathurin. Now, after the great game that he had a couple games ago, where, it was essentially titled the Benedict Mathurin game, he had a rough one. Now, you got 8 points. You only had 2 rebounds. You were 1 or 2 from 3, 1 or 2 from the field. However, it was that stretch, and I mean, like, down the stretch of the game, Benedict Mathurin, the turnovers, the foul that could have been a foul, probably wasn't a foul. I mean, Rick Carlisle damn sure didn't think it was a foul, but it was crazy. I mean, it just spelled doom and gloom. It just spelled something ominous was coming. And then you read further into the stat lines and you see where this game really made a difference. For instance, turnovers, they weren't that far apart. They were both pretty equally in turnovers. But when you start looking at the rebounding, and that is what's very startling here. You look at the offensive and defensive rebounding. I mean, the Pacers completely were out-rebounded, 43-21. That right there, that's second chance points. That's a second opportunity to stay within the game. And it wound up becoming a problem. Jalen Williams and Chet were the driving force to pretty much put OKC back in this game. They made it a tight game again, stormed back after being down by 7+. And then from the 3:19 mark, I mean, what pretty much killed the Pacers' chances was they choked. For the last 3 minutes and 19 seconds, could not hit a fucking shot. I mean, completely frozen, like Princess Lana down, Alana down the stretch. I mean, they were garbage. And then on top of it, amazing defense by Oklahoma City to end the game. I mean, because to have almost a damn near a 3-minute and 20-second stretch where you don't give up a point, that's amazing. And an NBA Finals game at that. So just keep that in context. But yes, Indiana choked this game away. Oklahoma City needed a win like this. They had a victory like this throughout the whole postseason. And interesting enough to know as well, they have not lost consecutive games in these playoffs. So that just goes to show you as well, Oklahoma City is doing everything they need to try to win this series. I definitely feel like it's still a series. I definitely feel like the Pacers could still win it. But that was a big loss the other night because had you win that game, you go up with a commanding 3-1 lead. All the pressure is on Oklahoma City. But I have a feeling this series is going to go 7 games anyway, which I think for all of our entertainment, that'd be a great thing. This series has been a lot better than what people expected. And I just hope that, we continue to be entertained by it. It sucks that there's no games today. Typically, NBA Father's Day, they usually do have a basketball game on, but I guess, the way the schedule worked out, it didn't work out this year, but the game will be on definitely tomorrow. So definitely make sure you check that out. It starts at 8:30. Like I said, it's be game 5, series tied at 2-2. So getting down to the last couple games of this NBA Finals, and very pivotal who wins this game and who will be taking the lead going forward. And then also I want to make sure I bring this up too via the Athletic and hoopshype.com. Knicks have stated that they are interested in Mikebrown and taylorjenkins as far as their head coaching search is concerned. It's kind of worrisome when you realize that they're at the 5th and 6th guy on the list and they're just now coming to people that they're interested in. Just shows you how incompetent the Knicks have been throughout this process. Ultimately, though, I think out of these two, it probably would be taylorjenkins that gets the job. I like Mikebrown. I think Mikebrown's a good coach. However, I don't know, that Dolan situation and with Leon Rose, I just don't know. It's just a lot of things that kind of play out there where it's like, what exactly, who's in charge? Because clearly James Dolan's the owner. Leon Rose is said to have been in charge, but the way things just went down with Tibbs, not really sure how this is all playing out. But they're interviewing these guys. They're looking at them. Finally, some coaches that are actually fired. So, we'll see how that shapes out for them. But the Knicks are still on their search. And also some very worrisome news for the Boston Celtics. Kind of underreported. Dropped down a few days ago. I want to make sure I touched on it in this episode. Jaylenbrown is undergoing knee surgery. Now, the Celtics want to stress emphasis that this knee surgery is not something they think that's going to keep him out in training camp. However, you have your star player with a ruptured Achilles, who's possibly going to miss most of, if not the whole season. You have your second best player who has just had knee surgery, and you're saying to your fan base, wait, don't worry. Don't fucking worry. He's going to play. He's going to play. It's not even going to hold him off of training camp. If I'm the Celtics, honestly, this year may not mean shit. This may not be a season. I think Boston really has to contemplate if making the playoffs is beneficial for them this year. Because they have a roster that could still make the playoffs, obviously. They're a good, deep enough team. The issue that I think that they're going to run into is, are you going to run Jaylenbrown into the ground while waiting for Tatum to get back, with possibly the hopes of having to get off of some of these guys contractually? Because you figure your core is Tatum, Brown, Derek White, contractually at least, for the next couple years, 2 to 3 minimum. That being said, if you run Jaylenbrown into the ground now, how does that really help you for this year when you're not saying it out loud, but you're not worried about winning a fucking championship. You just won it a year ago. You were contending this year. You had some things not fall your way. It doesn't even seem like the Celtics are really concerned about it, really, but I just think it's very interesting that Jaylenbrown just had surgery done when all of this was going on. So be that as it may, stay tuned for more updates on this. I will definitely keep Celtics fans and anybody who's interested posted. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too long. Father's Day, about to go celebrate, get my day started. I hope you guys are enjoying yours as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys for plugging in. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Hey to all my fans and subscribers out in the UK. Looking to get out this weekend, looking to make something of your week, then look no further than the Viagogo, the #2 leading ticket seller in the world for live events, shows, and concerts. Definitely check it out. If you're looking for exclusive tickets, look in the description of my videos on the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. Take care and enjoy your day.